Mom, Max and I are not together anymore. The wedding is off.
The wedding's off? Oh.
You're thinking you're not surprised.
No, I wasn't. Who would like dessert?
I used to think Emily's reaction when Lorelai told her that her wedding to Max was off was a little out of character for her. Lorelai was calling off an entire engagement the week before the wedding, which feels like the kind of thing Emily would have an aneurysm over. Just to do a little compare and contrast, this was Emily's reaction when Lorelai and Christopher had broken up.
I want to know why. I want a reason. I don't want any of this just because and it just didn't work out nonsense.
I feel like at the very least, we would expect a passive-aggressive comment. But Emily stays completely calm. We never really see her be happy or upset about Lorelai's decision to marry Max. She stays pretty quiet throughout all of it. The one exception being her finding out that Lorelai is getting married and that she didn't know. So I started wondering if Emily was secretly thrilled that Lorelai called it off because she had successfully gotten into her head about marrying Max. So get comfy, grab a coffee or your favorite beverage, and welcome to another episode of Pexposure. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my episodes. I really appreciate you being here. One of the reasons I started questioning Emily's reaction is because the only other time we see her this calm about the possibility of one of Lorelai's relationships ending is when Lorelai says that she and Luke will probably never get married. Emily is surprisingly understanding then too.
It's not gonna happen, the wedding.
What? So how are we?
We're good.
So now I'm questioning her calmness with Max too. Was she being supportive, or was it easier for her to stay calm because this was exactly what she wanted? Before I get into Emily, I want to talk about Max, because with or without Emily's help, this relationship was already on the rocks. Throughout the episode leading up to Lorelai ending the engagement, we see her starting to take the rose-colored glasses off and look at what actually marrying Max would mean. The main thing is that they never seem to have talked about what getting married would actually mean for their lives. Lorelai had been so careful about dating Max at the beginning because he was Rory's teacher. She was worried about how their relationship would affect Rory if it ended badly. Then she agrees to marry him without working through any of the much bigger questions.
Well, have you given it any thought at all?
Not really.
That's a pretty major conversation to be having right before your wedding. I personally think Lorelai got swept up in the idea of being married and what the next stage of her life could look like. I just don't think she had really thought through whether she wanted that life with Max. So Lorelai had her own reasons for ending the relationship, but I do think Emily may have known exactly how to push Lorelai toward calling it off. So I want to stress this point again, that we never really hear Emily give a full opinion of Max. We actually don't know her thoughts on him at all, but Emily has always wanted Lorelai to marry well. She doesn't want her settling down with someone just because she likes him. She wants whoever Lorelai chooses to meet Emily's idea of what's appropriate for the Gilmore name. That's why Emily is always excited when Christopher comes back into Lorelai's life. Emily has spent most of Lorelai's adulthood believing that Christopher is the person she should have married. When Lorelai and Christopher finally seem like they might work things out, and then Sherry gets pregnant, Emily is genuinely upset.
I know you're disappointed.
Disappointed? Oh, please.
She even calls Christopher and gets involved. And then, remember when Lorelai is interested in John Hamm at the auction? Emily gets so annoyed when Lorelai doesn't feel any connection with him.
Oh, this is so like you.
From Emily's perspective, he's exactly the type of guy she wants Lorelai to be with. She expects Lorelai to give him another chance, even though Lorelai tells her how miserable and uncomfortable that first date was. Emily cares more about how rejecting him could affect her own reputation than whether Lorelai actually likes this man.
We were both in pain. Deep pain. Marathon man kind of pain. But despite all of this horrible pain that we were both in, if you really want me to, I will go to the Bowie concert with him.
Thank you, Lorelai. Borrow Rory's sweater when you go.
So, I know what you're thinking. Where does Max Medina fit into all of this? Well, Max is a high school teacher, and frankly, I just don't think that meets the tax bracket Emily would have preferred for Lorelai. The problem was that Emily couldn't just come out and say that. So why would Emily stay quiet if this is how she felt? Well, let's go back and look at how and when Emily first finds out about Max.
Kissing a teacher? In a classroom? On Parents' Day?
Well, they wanted us to get more involved with the school.
And I can understand why Emily has this reaction. I mean, that's a crazy thing to do at Parents' Day.
Do you even know this man?
But she also doesn't show Lorelai any empathy or grace after she opens up saying it was a mistake, and you can clearly see this was an issue Lorelai was struggling with, but Emily being Emily is too caught up in how it all looks.
He's just a man, Lorelai.
No, he's not.
Oh, so what are you telling me? That this was all worth it because he was the love of your life, that this was the man for you?
Then in season 2, Emily finds out that Lorelai is engaged. Her reaction has very little to do with Max. She's upset because everyone seems to know about the engagement while Emily has been left in the dark.
She's getting married and she didn't tell us.
That becomes the entire focus of their fight. I think it's important to look at how this fight resolves. Lorelai explains that she doesn't know how to share things with Emily because she's afraid of Emily's reaction.
Something good happens to me. I'm just afraid you're gonna make me feel bad about it.
Lorelai is telling her directly that Emily's judgment is one of the reasons they aren't close. And after that conversation, Emily never openly criticizes the engagement. I don't want to assume that Emily is always incapable of being considerate. It's possible that she decided to hold her tongue because she didn't want to hurt Lorelai again. But I also think Emily knew that she couldn't openly object to Max without proving Lorelai right. She couldn't tell Lorelai that Max wasn't good enough for her. Openly opposing the marriage would only push Lorelai away, and it would confirm everything Lorelai had just said about her. Emily is very proud. I'm sure she didn't want to give Lorelai the satisfaction of knowing that she was right about how Emily would react. So direct criticism wasn't gonna work this time. At Lorelai's bachelorette party, Emily comments on how calm Lorelai seems, and she talks about how different she was before she married Richard.
The week before my wedding, I was a wreck. But the thing I remember most was that for the entire week before my wedding, I'd wait till my mother went to sleep, and I'd put on my wedding dress, and I would stare at myself in the mirror and think, how very right and wise and honored.
I've always thought that was a sweet story, so I completely understand the innocent interpretation of this scene, which is the universal interpretation of this scene, of course. Emily could simply be remembering how she felt before her own wedding. Maybe she genuinely admires Lorelai's ability to stay composed, because Emily was a nervous wreck. Once Emily tells her that story, Lorelai has something to compare herself to. Why doesn't she feel that excited? Emily doesn't tell Lorelai that she shouldn't marry Max. She doesn't say that Lorelai doesn't seem in love enough. She just shares a story about her own wedding and leaves Lorelai alone with it. And maybe that really is all she meant to do. But then I can't help thinking about when Rory asks Lorelai why she isn't marrying Max, and this is what Lorelai says.
Because I didn't want to try on my wedding dress every night.
Out of all the reasons Lorelai could have given Rory, she explains her decision through Emily's wedding dress story. Maybe this was Emily's way of getting the outcome she wanted without ever having to tell Lorelai what to do. The reason I have this theory is because of how we've seen Emily handle other situations. Let's take a look at what happens when Gran offers to give Rory her trust fund early.
How can you not see the pitfalls involved in accepting this money?
Mom.
I mean, you're the one who brags about how special your relationship with Rory is. I'm stunned that you want to jeopardize it like this. If Rory has that money, she won't need you anymore.
I hate that I let her do this. I hate that I let her get to me.
She knows that'll hit a nerve.
And you haven't told her that now she has her own money to put herself through school and to go to Europe?
Stop. Right now.
Emily doesn't directly tell Lorelai what decision to make. She says the things she knows Lorelai will keep thinking about. We see her doing something similar with Luke and Christopher in season 5. As we all know, Emily doesn't approve of Luke. Eventually, she realizes that expressing her opinion isn't gonna do anything, so she goes to Christopher.
My daughter's stubborn, but she's capable of greatness. And watching her settle down with a man who can hold her back from that is unacceptable. You, at least, won't hold her back.
She knows Christopher's presence at the wedding or vow renewal will create problems between Lorelai and Luke. Emily sets the situation in motion and lets everyone else react. And then we can't forget about Emily's involvement in Rory and Dean's third breakup. When Emily realizes that Rory is back together with Dean, she arranges the Yale alumni party and fills it with young men she thinks would be more appropriate for Rory. She puts Rory in a room full of other options and hopes the comparison will do the work for her. Emily also knew exactly how to get Rory excited about the party. She and Richard call her together, and Rory was so happy to hear them planning something as a couple because she wants them to get back together, and Emily knows this. So I think she was also pulling on the exact heartstring that would make Rory want to go along with it. I know Emily didn't plan for Dean to show up when he did. She didn't know Rory would walk outside surrounded by all the Yale guys, but Rory ultimately lets Dean go because she knows he's right about how different their lives have become. And I think Emily was trying to help Rory along with realizing that.
I don't belong here. Not anymore. Do I?
Dean. Emily has a pattern of deciding what she thinks is best for someone and creating a situation that pushes them toward it. With Lorelai and Max, maybe one story was enough. Which brings me back to Emily's reaction when Lorelai says the wedding is off.
What, Mom? What are you thinking? Just tell me.
I was thinking, I guess I have to return your gift.
That's it?
That's it.
I also think she's hella relieved. And truthfully, I've always appreciated her reaction here. Even if Emily was secretly relieved, she could have taken that moment to twist the knife and say that she knew the marriage wouldn't work, but she doesn't do any of that. If the wedding dress comment was meant to get Lorelai thinking, Emily had already gotten the result she wanted. She didn't need to say anything else. But Emily has a much bigger reaction when she thinks Lorelai eloped than when Lorelai tells her that the wedding is actually off.
Oh my God, you didn't. You eloped!
And also later, I think in like season 7, when she learns that Lorelai and Luke have like officially broken up, she's like surprisingly quiet. It even like bugs Lorelai how quiet she is.
Luke and I broke up.
Did you? That's too bad.
And it's just interesting that Emily's silence seems to show up when a relationship she never approved of ends. Also, another moment in season 7 is when Lorelai tells Emily that she and Christopher are getting divorced. Emily seems calm at first, but she'd also been drinking.
You provide for yourself.
By the next morning, though, she's furious.
We'll only get 60% of our deposit back, but that's better than nothing.
Compared to all of that, her reaction to the Max breakup still stands out. There's no like delayed anger or anything, she just accepts it. I think Emily knows Lorelai much better than either of them likes to admit. They misunderstand each other constantly, but Emily still knows what will get to her. That's also why passive-aggressive comments are so difficult to deal with. Someone doesn't have to directly tell you what decision to make. They can say one loaded thing and leave you to overthink it on your own. Sometimes a person may even believe they're helping you. Maybe they think they see something you can't, so they put the idea in your head and wait for you to reach the conclusion they wanted. And doing that can be easier than saying what they actually think. You still made the decision, but they helped guide you there. Emily has always struggled to let Lorelai make her own choices when she thinks she knows what's best for her. We'll never know for sure if Emily told Lorelai that story hoping it would confirm the doubts she already had. But when you're used to someone knowing exactly which buttons to press, it becomes hard to put something like this past them. And I wouldn't put this past Emily. So, what do you think? Was Emily actually respecting Lorelai's boundaries, or was she sneakily trying to get into Lorelai's head? I know my last 2 videos were kind of heavy hitters about some of the bigger biases in Gilmore Girls, but this one felt like a fun theory for us to talk through together. Don't worry though, because I still have plenty of other biases in the show that I want to get into. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll see you guys in another episode of Pexposure soon. Bye!